IGT, baby.
What's cracking, y'all? It's your boy Junior Mafia coming back to you with another video. So we got to talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw, and man, this was a banger show. Shout out to my hometown, New York. Y'all delivered in MSG, tonight for Raw, man. So I gotta give y'all love and respect, for that, and just being out there and making this show litty than what it was already. So we got to talk about what went down, and also I'm gonna be starting from the start of the show towards the end of it, and if I miss anything important, you let me know in the comments down below. So we had Cody Rhodes to kick off the show, which was shocking to see, and he comes out there and he just embracing the crowd and welcoming everybody here and saying that this is the home for WWE in New York, that with champions is made here, all of that stuff. So as he going, he says, what do y'all want to talk about? Out of nowhere, we get Stephanie McMahon, out of all people, coming out there, and it left Cody kind of confused, like, well, what are you doing out here? So she gets in the ring, and she's explaining, like, I'm surprised to see you out here, Cody, Stephanie, I'm surprised to see you out here. So she goes on to say, well, I'm in Madison Square Garden, a place where my grandfather also built WWE from as well. So, just acknowledging the McMahon name, so to speak. So she said, I also came out here because I want to talk to you about WrestleMania and Randy Orton. Even mentions about them, being generational talents, carving their own pathway, to being successful. And she also mentioned about Cody Rhodes, taking that golden pathway and, even leaving the company to become a bigger star and all that, and of course making his return. But also she did mention about how, you're doing that and you making your name for yourself. That Cody Rhodes there, who wants the best out of everybody there, that one is not going to get the job done against Randy Orton of this caliber, where he doesn't care and will literally go leaps and bounds to pack you up to get what he wants. So that's what Stephanie was trying to tell Cody a lot, and was even mentioning about Dusty Rhodes and how, when it came to that point in time where he had to go down and dirty to get the job done and all that, he was willing to do that, and said that he, that Cody, you don't got that bone in your body, like you're not your father. So, Cody was gonna rebuttal and say, you telling me that I don't know this version of Randy Orton and all that. Like, I know the Randy Orton, who he is, the youngest world champion, the legend killer, all of that stuff, and how, this is the Randy Orton, who I see this side of him who is vicious and also had punk kicked my own father, and even mentioned about, Stephanie McMahon getting kiss rape from Randy Orton, but not trying to say it, but you kind of read between the lines of it. And he was saying, like, people calling it the student versus the teacher. Like, I don't see it that way. Like, I'm not looking at it from a situation where I'm a babysitter. All of this, like, I know what is at stake here, and I'm going to get the job done and beat him. And also mentioned about, you mentioned me not being like my father-in-law, and he says, respectfully, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not like your father either. So I like the little jabs they was giving each other. So of course Stephanie, she was fed up, and she was letting him know, like, listen, I'm just trying to here to lecture you and get you prepared for what's going on, because this Randy right here, he hears voices in his head, and those voices, like, he don't escape, like, you don't like run away from it, he embraces it, and how he's ready to go, like, leaps and bounds, to win. And we're saying that if you want to match that energy and beat Orton, you're gonna have to, because if you come this version of you, steps into the ring at WrestleMania and expecting to walk out still as champion, that ain't gonna happen. And she says that this will be your last time you walking into WrestleMania with the title at that, and you're pretty much gonna lose. So after she made her point clear, she walks off, and you see Cody grabs her, and he let her know, like, yo, I got 2 words for you. Crowd says suck it, which was hilarious, and he says thank you, and that was it. So that was a fire segment. I enjoyed that a lot. You know, it was out of nowhere, surprised us all, and this makes me think now, what is Cody gonna do going forward? And he should understand that at this point, there's no room to talk when it comes to Orton. So every time that he's in this man's presence, it should be full crash out mode. Nothing more, nothing less. Because if he do not tap into that version of what Stephanie McMahon was telling him to do so, he's going to get dog walked. Even when he gets to the match at WrestleMania, he will get dog walked. So we'll see what happens going forward. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a segment on Friday Night SmackDown, so we'll have to see with that. But that was a good way to kick off the show. Then we had the tag team match of the Usos versus Division, the street fight for the World Tag Team Championships. And you got LA Knight there as a guest commentator, and Speed was also in the building as well. So you know they're going to play a role in this situation. So the match didn't really go that long, and we knew shenanigans was about to happen. So towards the end of the match, you see Logan Paul. He goes out to the ring, and he goes towards his mom, who was in the crowd, and she gives him the brass knucks. So he has it, and LA Knight catches eye on that, so he tries to grab Logan Paul. Then Logan Paul's grabbing Speed and ends up pulling him over the barricade. So as it's happening and the brass knuckles drop, you see Speed picks it up and he's putting them on. So as you know, Logan Paul getting packed up from LA Knight, and like walking towards Speed's direction, and like he was very hesitant on something. And as soon as LA Knight turns around, Speed hits him with the brass knucks. He's out and looking confused as shit. You hear the crowd saying, "You fucked up, you fucked up." So as this going on, the match going on, you see the Usos has the upper hand over Austin Theory, and he gets speared, and it looked like Jay's about to go up to hit the Uso splash, but Jimmy sees Logan Paul in the process, so he goes for a suicide dive, gets hit by the brass knuckles, knocks him out in the middle of the ring. Jay does the dive on the Logan Paul outside the ring, but you see Austin Theory covers Jimmy for the 1, for the 2, for the 3, and now they are your new tag team champions. And you see Speed looking confused as shit, just concerned and all. So as it's happening, and you see Jay, and he has this real pissed off look on his face, and it's just a matter of time to where the crash out version of him starts to creep up again, because you know for sure he's gonna be pissed at Jimmy for eating the pin the way he does, but also most likely blame LA Knight, for this to go down and all. So we'll see how that whole thing turns out. And they don't mention this at all for the whole duration of the show, so I'm pretty sure they're saving this for next week. So we'll see how that whole thing turns out. Next, I want to talk about Liv Morgan, and she comes out there, and she's just pissed off and all, and calling Stephanie Vaquer out. How she just literally attacked her from behind, attacking Dom as well, and was saying that you attack people from behind, but never wants to face me up like head on. And even mentions about where I come from and all that. Like we square up. Like it's on sight what it is. And you just used to attacking people from behind. And mentions about how her mom was like, you don't duck away from any smoke. And said, one thing about your mom though, and she said something in Spanish, but you could kind of tell it was some disrespectful shit. And in comes Stephanie Vaquer, who ain't wasting no time, walking with a sense of urgency, gets into the ring and starts brawling. And you know this led to a trap, because as she started getting an upper hand over Liv Morgan, out of nowhere you see a return of Roxanne Perez, who hits Stephanie in the back, and then the numbers game plays a focal point in that, and she pretty much get jumped with you see Roxanne and Liv Morgan standing tall. So that was a good segment to see there. I love what they've been doing with Liv and Stephanie as well. They making their matches a whole lot more interesting and must watch to see. So I'm definitely excited for WrestleMania when they do face each other and all that, and how that whole thing turns out. But that was fantastic. Next, we gotta talk about Femi and Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar comes out there, no street clothes or anything, comes out there with just his ring gear on. And we know when he had that on, business is about to pick up. So he walking with a sense of urgency, gets into the ring, and Paul Heyman, you know, doing his own rant as always about Femi, and you know how for these last 2 consecutive weeks, you know, Brock got blindsided, you know, by Seth Rollins and all, and that's where Oba takes advantage of it. So all of that shit. And he was saying that how Brock is in his gear looking for a fight and all that stuff. So Brock had enough, grabs the mic from Paul Heyman and says, you know, enough of this talking, Oba, get your ass out here. So as it's happening, you see Adam Pearce, he's coming out there, and you have his security guards there, and as they're making their way down here, you already know if they somehow trying to stop Brock Lesnar, the saxophone gonna play loud for them, because they're gonna get folded. So Pearce is pretty much saying that ain't happening. You know, this is a match for WrestleMania, so to prevent all of this, y'all gonna have to leave. So as it's happening and Brock gets fed up, like he about to do something, light goes out, and comes Femi, and he's doing that over strut, and as he's making his way like down the ramp, you see the security guards literally trying to stop him and all. This man bone rushes them and all that, and started packing them up, lift one of them up, and literally spin him in the air like he was a piece of dough, for crying out loud. And it's to the point out of Pearce is pretty much trying to talk to Oba as if like, yo, don't do it. Don't try to go in the ring and cause a fight between Brock Lesnar. Oh, ain't trying to hear that shit. This man proceeds to mush Adam Pearce's face like with full force. And that was the craziest shit to see. This is how you know this was already building up to be main event attraction. So he taking his sweet ass time around the ring and all that just to get under Brock's skin. And the minute he steps into those ropes, you can see the fear on Brock's face, like his whole demeanor change. And right when they was literally about to clash in the middle of the ring, in comes Triple H, you know, to split them apart and say that this is not the time. Like telling Paul Heyman, get Brock out of here right now. Like we're not having this, and this is gonna be safe for WrestleMania. Like this is what it's made for. So they talking their shit as well. Brock ends up going out there, still calling him Femi a boy and all that, which still pisses me off with that. But you know, Femi was ready. He wanted all the smoke. So for Brock to take out his frustrations and all, man's proceeded to grab one of the security guards and F out this motherfucker and then walk off. And I'll be honest with you, I love this segment a whole lot, and this is really building up to potentially be a main event match. I kind of had this feeling, wow, Paul Heyman keep mentioning it about it being a main event match. But now seeing it and seeing for these last 3 weeks and what has been building up between Brock and Oba, low key, this could be a night one main event match, just from what we've been seeing. And that alone could potentially eclipse anything Cody and Randy be doing. So if I'm Cody and Randy, I better be delivering for these next 2 weeks right now. So it has to be on some crash chat level here that will say, okay, this is going to be a main event match, because if nothing changes and it becomes the same redundant thing every week, low key, this could be the main event match of night one, and that's Over versus Brock. It definitely can be. So we'll see how that whole thing turns out going forward. After that, we see Paul Heyman backstage, and he's talking to Adam Pearce, and pretty much was saying that, you know, you had something to say, you know, in the ring as well. And he also wants you to understand that Adam Pearce kept mentioning to Paul Heyman about this email thing, and you know, he kept brushing off. Paul Heyman kept brushing off, not paying that no mind. So he was saying that you had something to say in the ring. I'll advise you to go out there now. So Paul Heyman gets into the ring, and he pretty much addressing everything going on, saying that how the Vision's the new tag team champions, even with the whole Open Brock thing, all of that stuff. Then he mentions about Seth Rollins and, you know, him, you know, not being here in the equation anymore. So all that stuff. But Adam Pearce comes out there, and I forgot before Pearce got summoned out there again, you just hear Paul Heyman just talking shit to Pearce, like just belittling him. So Pearce he was fed up about it, came out there, and he had to know, like, let him know, like, listen, I'm here to address you about the email once again that you're still trying to avoid and all. And he was saying that, you know what, to make the long story short, that email was letting you know that Seth Rollins got, you know, pretty much cleared from the Boston Police Department, and also he's medically cleared to compete. So as he said that, you see the look on Paul Heyman's face, and then when Seth music hits, you hear the saxophone getting louder and louder, and this is where he's yet again vulnerable. Seth creeps up, you know, from behind with the chair, hits him with it, and as he's doing that, places his face onto it, and he's in the corner looking to curse off him onto the steel chair. You see somebody grabs him and pulls him out of the ring, and it's none other than Gunther, and this man proceeds to choke the life out of Seth Rollins and literally, like, sent them to the upper room. And as that happening, I was thinking, like, wait a minute. And he proceeds to point at the sign at WrestleMania, and we are now getting Gunther versus Seth Rollins. And it shocked us because I was expecting Braun Breaker to make a comeback, and seeing how that whole thing ties in with the whole Vision situation as well, I thought that was already going to be set in stone. But to see Gunther and him answering the call and facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania, I'm here for it as well. Now, I will say this does not have ties with Gunther being part of the Vision. You know, I don't see that at all. I think it was just Gunther not having an opponent, and he says, you know what? How about I go after Seth Rollins? So that could be the thing. So we should get more details into that now that we're 2 weeks away, and we'll see how that build up goes as well. But I feel like that match also going to deliver when we get closer to WrestleMania. So I was excited for that. That was crazy to see. And after that, we had the main event segment of Roman Reigns and CM Punk. So he gets in there. Roman takes his time. You know how it is, overbuilding, all of that shit. So tells MSG to acknowledge him and all that. CM Punk music hits, and this man wastes no time. He got in there, his hands taped up, ready to go, have a hoodie on. He's in fight mode. So after what happened last week, you really know he was looking to get his get back. So he gets into there, and they start brawling and all that stuff. So, of course, you see Roman started getting the upper hand until Punk, you know, started to gain momentum, throws him out of the ring. And he also, you know, was, you know, sending Roman straight to the ring post and all that. And you see again, Adam Pearce and the security guards trying to break it up again. And it's like, it ain't gonna happen this time. Like, they're gonna try to at least fight, so you fight y'all off. So you see him clearing out the announce table, and he's trying to get Roman. Roman's end up capitalizing, and you see Adam Pearce trying to stop Roman from, you know, attacking Punk, and man proceeds to push Adam Pearce again. Like, Pearce just became a punching bag for the whole show. Like, I swear, he just became a punching bag. So, as, you know, Punk's trying to fight out of the powerbomb because Roman's about to, like, send him to an announce table again, he started handling the fury of punches and all that, too. So, it's been going back and forth, and then CM Punk proceeds to hit him with a GTS. And just when he think that it's enough, he like, nah, goes back again, picks Roman up, hits another GTS on him, and then hits a power bomb onto the announce table to Roman. And I want you to understand, as this man was saying Indian style, he was still beating up Roman Reigns while singing Roman Reigns, Roman Reigns, and beating him up. So that's what pretty much happened to end the show and all that. And he's standing tall and all. And it was crazy for me to see that because you know he was going to get his get back. But I was surprised to not see the Usos show up, let alone Jay. After everything that went down, and especially what happened last week, it was surprising to not see them show up at all once Roman got packed. So that was kind of shocking for me to see, but you see Punk got his get back now. So we'll see how things turns out now that we're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. So we'll see how everything else will happen next week and all. But overall, this was a fantastic show. Real quick before I close this out, we also had some matches confirmed for WrestleMania. That being the women's Fatal 4-Way tag team match because it was a disqualification with Lyra Valkyria and Bayley versus Lash and Nia, because you know Charlotte and Lexi getting involved and the Bellas got involved, all that stuff. So we got a Fatal 4-Way tag team match. Don't really care about that much. We also have Finn versus Dom. We also have the ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. We have Penta, Rusev, JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, and Javon Evans, which those 5 guys are going to deliver. I think that's going to be fantastic. That might be match of the night. Whatever they place up with a night 1, night 2, they're going to fucking deliver. And I am here for it. So that's fantastic to see. And another match got confirmed tonight. Yeah, that being Gunther versus Seth Rollins. So it's starting to ramp up now. Like the road to WrestleMania is starting to really kick in now. So hope that they keep this momentum going and it's more consistent. But comment down below. Let me know how you feel about Monday Night Raw. What is your best moments that happen on here that you like and all that. So I definitely want to know what's your comment, what it is in the comment section, and what would you rate it? And for me, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Just called the Oprah segment, and with the Gunther and Seth Rollins thing, and of course Stephanie and Cody Rhodes, and then of course the main event thing. So that's what made me give it a 10 out of 10. But let me know in the comments on how you feel. But I appreciate your love and support. Road to 200 subscribers. Continue to keep God first. Trust the process of anything that you do in life. Your time will come. And I'm going to catch y'all on the next video. Peace.
Game over, yeah!